Okay. I'm on the air today with the Josoman, who I've had on here before, but we're having a second stream of sorts, which ought to be interesting. A discussion slash debate about politics, social issues, just stuff in general, really. And hopefully it ought to be interesting. To take it away, Josoman, introduce yourself.
I am the Josoman. I run a semi-political channel. Sometimes I do movie reviews, but basically, me and Owen know each other from S-Man, and and we disagree on one topic. I think. I it would be interesting when we get to the religion thing, because me and S-Man were talking about it, and how I'm a deist now. I will, but yeah, if Owen wants to get into that, then we'll get into that. But yeah,
Yeah. Primarily it's going to be, just open discussion about like, politics, social issues, um, stuff like that, really. Um, but did you have a particular place you wanted to start?
just transgender thing. If anyone who's a fan of me or fan of Owen knows, I was addressing Owen McDonald on the issues of transgender issues, and I kind of said that science doesn't support the whole transgender thing, but I've looked into it, and it seems like, from what I understand, that they have the other brain of the gender, or if they're non-binary, they um, have it. They're not confined to either gender. So, you know,
Hmm. Well, no, it's firstly excellent to hear that you've taken the time to sort of read and study stuff more closely than just the accepted rhetoric and stuff, and have come to a conclusion that's more supportive of the science and of trans people. Like he said, the body is far, far more complicated and nuanced than just a strict binary model and a fixed, sexuality, not sexuality, fixed biological sex. Um, and the formatting of the brain and the way we think is just one way of analyzing that. There's more to the body than just a strict A or B option. And it's about time people started recognizing that. So, it's really great to hear that someone who perhaps was once more skeptical, or not even that, but just ill-informed about it, has taken the time to actually think about it. And it just shows that if people, moved on from their prejudices and actually took the time to try and understand trans people a bit more than just stereotypes, they'd, make society better, really. I think it's really great that you're able to do that.
I think, thank you. And if you want to continue on, I guess there's a big. Is it okay if I talk about this? Because um, it's where I called a girl on YouTube not really transgender, and I regretted that as soon as I said it. Well, not as soon as I said it. I took a week for me but it took me a while to get over that she was really trans, and I was just being hateful, and I thought I was defending transgender people because I thought she was faking it, but really that was just disrespectful of me, and I apologized to her through email, and she accepted my apology.
Brilliant. I mean, again, it's another avenue of transphobia, the idea that trans people are pretending, and goes down to the idea that there's a level of acceptance and conforming to cis-normative ideas about the body. And like you said, it's not something that is up to cis people to decide whether a trans person is trans. So yet once again, it's great that you're able to sort of recognize your past mistakes, and ultimately you'll find that trans people, like most people, they're not going to hold ill will against you. They're going to be forgiving of past things, and happy that more people are beginning to see them as just ordinary people like us.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
so with that positive boost of energy from the start of the discussion, is there a topic you want to move on to of sorts?
I guess capitalism. I'm more moving. See, here's the thing. Most people don't know is that I do have like healthcare. I believe that it should be universal, but it's just I do like the idea of capitalism, but I don't know if in practice it's worked. you know. But I think
Hmm.
it's worked. It's just like I think there needs to be a better system out there.
Yeah. So let's discuss universal healthcare. Why do you think that universal healthcare is the right way to go about it? Like, the idea that healthcare shouldn't be for profit and that it should just be everyone has, basic access to the rights to decent healthcare, medication and stuff.
Because I've dealt with it to where the state would not allow me would charge $200 for just medication, and I couldn't afford it until I went under my insurance plan with my mom's work insurance plan, and I shouldn't have to go through those hoops. I should have access to healthcare. You
Hmm.
know, I believe that it's a human right to have access to healthcare, whether War Corps 666 disagrees with it or not. I, I even I even debated War Corps, by the way, if you want to know about that. But we'll go on to that later.
I mean, I'll look out for that at some other point.
I won't be able to find the video. It's gone by his. But yeah,
But yeah, like you said, it's no one should have to go through so many barriers and diversions to afford a basic tenets of life. The idea that you should be able to see your doctor, to access a hospital and medical treatment and stuff, and not have to pay extortionate and horrific fees just to attain that. Um, and ultimately, that's where the sort of seed of anti-capitalism starts. The idea that no, we shouldn't be having the basic tenets of life curtailed and turned into a profit. We shouldn't be allowing a class of extremely wealthy people control the means of production and control power over the land, the water, the food, the resources of the planet. So I would ask you if you can see that it's so harmful to have healthcare for profit, to deny people access to of such a basic and fundamental part of life without paying on a free market, then why stop there? Why not do that for all things? Why not go beyond the idea that healthcare is the only thing that shouldn't be for profit, and instead see all avenues of life as intrinsically valuable and not something that should be profited off by a profiteering class.
I guess it's because we all like to trade and stuff, but at the same time, we should all be benefited to. Like, I don't think we should get stuff for free, but like, I do think that the basic human stuff should be like the workers should like be able to get a decent wage, and it seems like they're underpaid. You know.
Um, Well, it's a start to sort of say that they're underpaid because ultimately the whole purpose of capitalism is the commodification of labor. The idea that someone's work can be turned into a commodity and thus profited off by the capitalist. I mean, you look at anyone who's working in a job today. You take their labor, extract the profits from it, and then hand them back less than what their labor was worth. Um, but coming back to what you said, the idea that people like trading could be applied to healthcare. Um, However, obviously, quite rightfully said, no, that shouldn't be something that is turned into a commodity. It shouldn't be something that is for profit. And your own experience with that, your medical bills, is a perfect example of how unfair the system is because it's pricing people out of their livelihoods basically. And look how many people in America die needlessly because they couldn't afford access to basic treatment. Um, Yet at the
Someone
same time, the you're going to then defend the trading of other areas despite the clear harm it has. I mean, you say that livelihood is affected by with healthcare being for profit, which it does, but then why is that different for housing? Look at how many people can't afford their rent and then have to either like miss meals or miss healthcare to afford that. Look at how many people miss meals because they can't afford their rent if they're spending money on decent meals 3 times a day. Look at how many people um, aren't able to attain education that would otherwise make them, happier, more productive people, and have them in a role that they feel they're in the strongest, in society with. and then they're barred from that because a free market puts barriers upon attaining education. And even just imagine all the people who could have contributed something to society who never got the chance to because they were barred basic access to the tenets of life. Imagine how many people lost the opportunity to achieve something because of the barriers placed on them in the respective field by the free market, by the idea that you need to be paying a capitalist to access a basic tenant. Can you see the sort of hypocrisy of saying it's okay for healthcare to be not for profit, but then allow it for other stuff?
I can see that being a hypocritical statement.
I, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I guess, but I guess the only reason why I support capitalism is because it seems like the world has stuff to build and needs to trade off for profit because they need to find a way to earn. Sorry if I just messed with my headphones there.
It's all right.
I guess, how would you address the fact that we build things for profit and we kind of need a way to sustain each other through that system?
Well, it's an argument I hear a lot, the idea that capitalism built society we have today. And I would fundamentally disagree. It's labor and the labor of workers that is what builds things. It's what makes the building, makes the products, gets the food to your table. And ultimately, it's capitalism that commodifies that labor and misappropriates and misdistributes the value. So the workers do the labor. The workers put the food on the ship to sail it from the rest of the world to your country. Workers drove it from the port to the shop, which then was bought by you by a shop exchanged through a shopkeeper or something. That's all the labor of workers. It's the capitalist who then commodifies that labor. Forcefully extracts profit from that worker because the worker has to sell their labor to attain access to the elements of life like food, a house, and stuff. They forcefully extract that the profit from their labor, and then obviously maintains their power through that. The capitalist, the people responsible for capitalism, do not do the things that make society run. They're not growing the food, they're not making the products. It's workers doing that, and it's capitalists existing as a parasite upon the labor of the workers. For instance, look at a McDonald's. Is it the CEO of McDonald's in the shop selling you the burger? Is it the CEO of McDonald's driving the burgers from the port to the shops or growing the?
No.
Exactly, it's not. There's no way a CEO is ever setting foot in a ground floor of McDonald's. They probably don't even know how to flip a burger. Yet they're billionaires, and the workers who do the work to make McDonald's run are on minimum wage. Not even that, because they have to fight massively against the system to earn minimum wage, and they might not even succeed at that. The idea that we've built the world through this system is incorrect. Labor has built society to where it is. Labor invents things and creates products and stuff. Capitalism exists to exploit the labor, to profit off the labor, to commodify it, to maintain the power of the wealthy.
Okay.
To fire a question back at you regarding the healthcare theme, if you got to ask yourself, why is healthcare seen as something that can be, done for profit? Why is healthcare a commodity in the eyes of the capitalist? I'll ask you that now.
Why is it? I guess because people think that we can basically take from others without thinking about it. Like we can just take from it without actually doing the work, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's sort of right. The idea that I'd sort of agree. Like the idea that people find it justifiable to take away the basic tenets of life, but you got to dig somewhat deeper. I feel you got to analyze why that is, because people aren't inherently evil. People aren't going to openly say, I want you to suffer, nameless working class person. However, corporations still prize away the basic tenets of life. And ultimately, that stems from the fact that capitalism is a system in which constant profit is needed and required. You need to be constantly attaining more capital and growing your power. So,
I would like to ask you if I can bring my friend on. He's been really wanting to ask. He's a really nice guy, but like, I don't know if that's okay with you.
No, that's fine. Yeah. If I could just finish what I was saying, though.
Yeah, sorry. I was listening. By the way,
It's completely fine. So yeah, the capitalist who sees healthcare, be it medication or access to hospitals or hospital beds or whatever, sees that as a commodity, sees it as something to profit off. The person who does that is going to make more money. It's going to become more powerful. Hence, the capitalist who's got the best interest in consolidating their capital will pursue that avenue, will maintain their power through controlling an essential like healthcare. And yeah, for all you argue, however justifiably, that it's not right to deny people basic human rights, the capitalist will say, "Oh, well, I make more money for it, and you can have more money if you do this. If you put a price and a free market upon healthcare, um, it's not a good system because it ultimately allows people to do that. And wherever you want to place the limit, ultimately the free market will decide when and where that limit is, destroyed and curtailed.
That's my friend, by the way. But
This
yeah,
is your friend, Keeper Cast.
yeah.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
I had this show. Here's the thing.
I thought you said it was only one friend. Who's this?
I thought it was. I only sent it to Hubercast. I don't know why.
Don't worry about us. We're all nice here. We all want to talk about whatever you're talking about.
Do you know what we're talking about?
No, please enlighten me.
Capitalism, actually. I was under the impression, flipping it. How many friends did you invite, Josoman?
I only invited Hubercast thinking that it was going to be one, to be honest. The most likely one.
So did Josh tell you that he was scheduled to be on another show and did a classic thing he does where he just at the last second, once the place he's supposed to be goes live, he messages them and says, "I have an important thing to do."
Well, no, he's organised this with me. Tried to move these people. No offense or anything, but I was actually planning on speaking to just Josoman this time.
So I don't think what Josh told you is I actually represent him. Like I'm his lawyer, his manager, his confidant.
Yeah, all right. We can have a discussion.
No, truly. So the other people will just listen, okay? But the conversation you were going to have with Josh.
Yeah, they can listen in the chat. Anyway, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry about that. It's not nothing against them.
No, it's fine. But I mean, if they're just gonna mess around, then there's no point in really being in the chat.
They're really nice people.
I'm sure.
I guess we can end this after a little bit, right? So I can be on there. But yeah, I've had a real fun time talking with you. But we're not just gonna here. I want to talk.
Wait, you what?
I don't know. I forgot that I had this show to do.
Can you not wait to do that show?
I can wait for ages. I can wait. They go on for hours.
Right. Okay. Anyway, where were we? Oh, for goodness sake!
Hey, I really just want to have the conversation. You don't have to kick me.
Yeah. Well, we can have a conversation another time. I mean, I've organised it for Josoman for today.
Right, but he was already booked, is what I'm trying to say. And
that's not. It's not like it's a proper thing. Like he's on here with me. And he'll be on review later, I presume, or whenever.
Listen, you fucking nigger. I don't think you understand.
Yeah, all right. Goodbye. Your friend's also quite racist, I see.
Well, you gotta understand that he has a humor to him.
A humor of being racist.
Anyway, I'm gonna go to that.
You're going to go?
I'm sorry. I'm booked for this thing. If I don't go, then
come on. You can't say to me that you're going to be, here at a certain time, and then. Oh, goodness sake! How do I block someone?
Josh, you better come to the fucking show right now.
All right. I guess I'm gonna.
Josh, you can't just. Oh my god! Right. Okay. That's the end of the stream, I guess. Josoman appears to have very interesting friends who appear to be pretty racist from the sounds of it. Yeah, earlier than I intended, but I guess clearly Josoman has better priorities. Cliffing it. Wow, didn't expect this to be ending so quickly. But yeah, a brief foray into the mind of a capitalist. Some people are saying in the chat saying I should report him. I wish I knew how. I ejected them before I sort of did anything. Yeah, so a somewhat melodramatic end to the stream, really. I believe I've got a stream coming up with S-Man, who hopefully should actually have some substance to his appearance. But yeah, apologies to anyone expecting a proper stream. And I'll see you all another time. Goodbye.